don't do it! Get a grip! This stupid video I just showed you! I almost stroked out and died over it. You're watching a different show! You donkey! You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship! Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State, it's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? 312-988-15.
Hello?
You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Welcome in, welcome back, folks, to a Work It Out Wednesday. I got to give the chat credit. Really productive pre-show discussion. It's always interesting to me to see, like, I have these plans for each show. You have to have a loose outline of a couple topics or whatever. And then I get down here 25 minutes early to get things set up and get everything like locked and loaded. And I get to take a look at what the chat is. It's just really funny because it doesn't matter what my outline is. You guys are going to steer it where you want to steer it. And it's really interesting to me to just log in and see a chat, and then I know where you guys are at, and I know the vibe it's going to be for this show. And the other day, Commander was in a mood, and he was giving us the business, and then today I log in, and he's commenting early some very productive, positive things. So Tex ND is right. The chat is a show within itself, the same way the Patreon community tab, it has its own life and its own vibe, and it does what it does. It's awesome. You never know what you're going to get. So welcome in, welcome back, everybody, on a Work It Out Wednesday. And I have a couple things that I want to go over. You guys have some really, really good thoughts, some productive thoughts, some things we're going to have to work through and think about between now and August, and figure out where we think Notre Dame is and where things are going. Phil, Commander will keep you on your toes, man. I like it because he vacillates between like some very productive, positive stuff and then totally doom and gloom and like just the total dark side stuff. So he keeps us balanced. One day to the next. You never know what you're going to get. So welcome in, welcome back, folks. Thank you for starting your morning here. Couple interesting topics here. I'm going to throw out, did you decide on a game you're going to, Joe? Well, we're doing the tailgates for Conalangus Rice. We're doing the tailgates for Rice in Miami. So those are the two that I know for now. So Rice in Miami, you could book it. It's really, really interesting picking Rice in Miami because for home games for Notre Dame, the vibe between those two moments could not possibly be more different. Like, I didn't necessarily plan it that way on purpose. And the Miami one's in partnership with the Orange County Alumni Club in California. So that's part of it too. But the Rice one's going to be the first home game. You're almost guaranteed good weather. Everybody, how do I say this? Marshall, Northern Illinois, whatever. It's going to be lower stress because it's Rice. As long as you beat Wisconsin, it's going to be lower stress because it's Rice. Warm weather. The other thing is it's going to have a very unique feel because they're going to honor Lou. It's the first home game since Lou's passing. So I'm certain there's going to be, Notre Dame's going to do something in the stadium to honor Lou. So that's going to be interesting. So you have that vibe, warm September weather and like a lower stress moment. And then you have Miami. And it's going to be a night game. So it's going to be a long day. Obviously, Rice is going to be in the middle of the day. One of those, Mike Goolsby always says he hates it. a sleepy afternoon start in Notre Dame Stadium where half the crowd's asleep. And that's what you're going to get for Rice. Now, you are going to get, I will say this, though. You do get a first home game bounce, usually. As far as like the vibes are up and the energy's up because the crowd's excited to be back in Notre Dame Stadium for the first time in the year. You're going to have some of that vibe. But overall, that Rice thing isn't going to have the juice. And then Miami, I'd say this. Usually when you have a tailgate, you want good weather, like for the tailgate, so you get a good crowd and everybody's comfortable and whatever. The Miami tailgate is one where I'm asking for the crappiest weather you could get. John's downplaying Rice. If this Notre Dame program isn't at a point where you could downplay Rice, something's wrong. Tell me Andrew's saying it's going to be frustrating. They're a triple option team, whatever. If the Notre Dame program isn't at a point where you could count the Rice game, it's a big win in the summer, everything we're talking about is bogus. Everything we're talking about is bogus. People can't, this is starting to bother me. Here we go. You're not able to have it both ways. This is starting to bother me, this angle. Oh, number 3 team, number 2 team, Heisman, championship or bust. All of this confidence that people have in Notre Dame. And then I say you should be able to beat Rice easily, and I have people pushing back on it. Which is it? If you believe Notre Dame is a top 3 team entering this year, you shouldn't have to worry about Rice. You're not allowed. I'm not going to let people play both sides of it. Oh, yeah, we're in a top 5 team. We're going to the title. We have a Heisman quarterback. All of this. Most athletic roster in the modern era. But I'm scared about Rice. You better be careful about that. You can't. You can't live in both of those worlds. If this is to the point that they're as good as everybody thinks they are, if I can't count Rice as a win, we've all been bamboozled again. We've been bamboozled again. Now, that doesn't mean the team doesn't have to take it seriously and do the work and prepare. And if they're running an option, be ready for that or whatever. It doesn't mean the team just gets to roll the ball out there and collect a big win. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I struggle with people playing both sides of it, saying we're elite and the number 2 team in the country or whatever, and then pushing back on me when I say you should beat shit out of Rice. You gotta pick a side here. You're either worried about every single game and we're gonna lose, or do you get what I'm saying? That it's hard for me in my mind to play both sides of that. If this team is anything close to what's being written and said about it locally and nationally, they're going to blow out 9 teams on this schedule easily. I'll give you BYU's a tough road game at night, and Miami is what Miami is, and then maybe there's one other one in there, SMU or something. I don't know. Maybe Angeli's playing for the Heisman the last game of the year. I don't know. But if this team is anything close to what it's being built up to be, they're going to blow out 9 teams. And if it doesn't happen, then they're not as good as we think, and there's problems, and they're going to have to get incrementally better throughout the year. But I'm not getting in a position where on one side of my mind, I think they're the number 2 team and 2 or 3 team in the country to start out. And I'm worried they're going to get beat up by Rice. I get Conor Langa's Rice. I just can't handle it. Now, that being said, Marcus Freeman's got to do a better job in September, and you got to do a better job handling home field. There's no doubt about that. But that's being baked in the equation, right? Like we're already... I got to write this down or I'll forget. Johnny, why you want bad weather for Miami then? Because Miami's not Rice. Miami's not Rice. Miami has the most athletes of anybody we play, and they don't like shitty cold weather. So I want sleet coming off the lake. I should need sleet coming off the lake to beat up food. It's a food. I should need bad weather to beat the hell out of a food. And the other part of this is the big division of the fans and the media versus the team. And that's actually the first thing I had on my list to talk about before I started yelling. So I want to get into some of this. But there's a difference between the fans and the media and the actual program. And I don't know how to navigate that the right way either. So I'm going to give you guys, listen, there's the link. If ever anybody wants to jump in, feel free, or I'll just rant for a while. So let's get into this. You guys have some good chats. I gotta steer this thing back on the tracks here. Like Mike Denbrock said about the quarterback. He said the guy can steer the offense, sometimes right into a ditch, though. I'm gonna steer us back on the road here. Steer us back on the road. So thanks for being here. You can find a program on Catfish. Jump in, buddy. As always, you can find a program on YouTube. Swandong, I have highlighted it and I've thought about it before the show and I have an answer. I have highlighted your question, not even about football, and I have a very productive, I think reasonable middle ground answer for you of what I genuinely suggest. And then Andrew Gilmore had some thoughts that I'll lean into on the back end of my take, but I'm definitely going to answer that for you. I got that for you. As always, give the video a thumbs up. It helps in the algorithm. Notifications on. That way you're alerted every time something drops here. Twitter, search bar, Always Irish. Rat, Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only. Anywhere you want it, you can get it. If you don't want to see my stupid face to start the morning, nobody blames you for that. Do the audio only. It might help out. It might minimize the impact of my personality. Notre Dame on SI. Read all about an article for you almost every single day of your life. In the middle of the summer, sometimes it isn't every single day with a different idea in the low period, but it's almost every single day. I got something for you. The website overall definitely has something for you every day. Cold weather has no effect if you're mentally prepared to dive right into it. Listen, I've seen enough warm weather schools come to Notre Dame when it isn't even cold by our standards, and they got barrels of garbage on the sideline rubbing their hands. They got the full ski mask on like they're going down Mount Everest on skis, like our offensive linemen in the offseason. They're doing all sorts of, it's freezing. Like a homeless guy under Lakeshore Drive, lighting barrels of trash on fire. Man, I'm cold. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. You know what I'm saying. It's 54 degrees in South Bend, and these guys come up from the south, and they got those full face masks underneath their helmet. They don't like the cold. They don't like the cold. I've seen enough of it over the years when I'm in a T-shirt and they're wearing winter gear. They don't like the cold. I want sleet and wind coming off that stupid lake. And I don't care what it does to the tailgate. The shittier the weather, the better the mood I'll be in. I have no idea why this Wednesday has got me fired up, but I like it. Let's lean into it. I have no idea why I'm being like this, but we're leaning in, baby. We're leaning in. Don't forget about patreon.com/alwaysirish. I'm going to tell you what the most unique college football community there is, and you guys made the tailgate what it was, man. Find somebody who had a more poppin' party in a parking lot than we had. You ain't going to find it because it doesn't exist. Rice could absolutely be frustrating. Whenever someone runs a weird offense, it could give good teams trouble. I can see it now, Andrew. I can see it now. I could so see it. We're all here to honor Lou Holtz, and it's like this beautiful September day, and we're all here to honor Lou, and we're watching the Conolangus Rice triple option run up and down the field on Notre Dame. I can't handle it. I can't handle that. May, June, July, August. I got 4.5, 5 months of this. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. I can see it now. I can see it now. What a way to ruin a perfect day to honor Lou Holtz. It's 82 degrees and sunny. Everybody gets to go back in Notre Dame Stadium for the first time. Everybody's all excited. And then that formidable Rice triple option right down your throat. That would be extremely Notre Dame-y. That would be extremely Notre Dame-y. Telling you, though, if this team is anything like people are saying and writing and talking about, Rice shouldn't be an issue. And in fact, none of the first 6 games should be an issue. I'll say it. Oh, John, what about the head coach's miniskirt girlfriend at North Carolina? Come on, man. Oh, what about Michigan State? Fitzgerald hates Notre Dame. If he goes in there year one with the roster mess that he's had to deal with and flipping everything and beats Notre Dame and all, what are we doing all this for? What is the purpose of my existence if that's how this is going to go? It's a genuine question. Why do I even bother to exist if that's going to be the situation we're in this year? You should be favored and win each of those 6 games by double digits. I'm saying it right now. Step it up, championship standards. You're going to be double-digit favorites in all those games. I want you to be a cover factory like you're making quilts. Okay. Phil, I need John to warm up my footsies at the Miami tailgate. Oh, just wait. If it's game day and it's November in South Bend, Herbstreit's he's going to have one intern on each foot during the TV timeouts to rub his little Ohio State footsies together so they stay warm under the desk while he makes $5 million a day. That guy. I'll never be able to look at him the same after he humiliated that intern. It was like something from the Bible where he's up on a stand and you got some poor 20-year-old kid trying to make it in the business, rubbing his feet in front of 10,000 people. Humiliating. Treating the guy like a slave. Absolutely humiliating. I'll never forgive him for doing that. And the only way I saw it was... Swan Dong, that's leave Omar out of this first thing in the morning, okay? Leave my guy Omar out of this. The only reason I saw that, see, this is why I love this show, because I'm trying to drive straight and I'm turning off into this ditch. I'm off-roading over here. The only reason I saw it was, Soli, I see, I'm going to bring you up. The only reason I saw it was they have the commercial breaks on game day. And sometimes when they're not back from commercial yet, they'll zoom in on like the setup and what they're setting up next for the next segment. And it's like 5 seconds of like a little thing being like, just showing what they're moving into the next set. And it was one of those little in-between things, and they zoomed in. And that poor intern was rubbing his feet because they were chilly that morning under the desk. I'll never forgive him. You don't treat people that way. You don't treat people that. I don't care if you're rich and one of the main guys or not, dude. Your little footsies are going to be just fine. I'll never forgive him. And yes, some of this involves how much I dislike guys' hooves. That's a part of it too. You all know my dislike for guys' feet. Seriously, unbelievable. Paul Bunyan's hanging outside, more hair than a Bigfoot on your knuckles. Those big white patches from the fat moving on your foot one way, sticking out, just absolutely disgusting. Talons like an eagle in the wilderness that Brian Kelly released. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Take care of yourself or cover up. No one wants to see it. Guys do not take care of their feet, and they're too willing to show them all off. It makes me sick to my stomach. You know what I'm talking about. Those white patches that form from the pressure of your fat foot in your stupid sandal. All those that's the other thing. Why is John looking at people's feet? I notice everything when I'm in public, dude. Guys, girls, I notice everything. I'm very aware of my surroundings. I notice everything. So I can't handle it, man. I just can't handle it. I look at some of these people's sandals and I feel bad for them. I honestly want to steal them and rescue them for what they have to deal with. Some of these people's sandals. I'm serious. Like, there's less bacteria on that ship that's stuck in the ocean with everybody with diarrhea. There's less bacteria in that buffet than there is on your flip-flop. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. White slides with mid socks is sweat. I would very much. There's Omar. Omar, I love you, buddy. Thanks for being here. And wait, you guys, every time I bring this up, you guys twist what I'm saying. There is a part of identifying if a girl is put together and attractive involves nail care. That's a part of it. That's a part of evaluating if a girl has it together and is classy or not, is the nail care. You always look for that. And I am all about a cute girl with petite, cute feet and a good pedicure, and it's all put together and looks nice. I'm all about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these nasty Sasquatch, Yeti-footed, more bunions than Paul type guys. That's what I'm talking. Don't put the women in here. It's totally different. Totally different. That's one of the first things I check when I was dating is, do they take care of their nails? It just tells me how put together they are and all that stuff. So I'm not talking about cute girl feet. I'm talking about dude hoof. And that's way different. Way, way different, man. I've always hated it. Always hated it. So that's where I'm at on that. I thought this was a football pod. Yes, sometimes. We got 4 months till the season, so we're going to be able to stretch our nasty legs a little bit here. Dr. Judge, something's wrong with my feed. The video's okay, but the audio's from a different show. You never know where we're going to go here. You never know where we're going to go here. But I'm all about cute girls' feet and cute heels. Man, you can't beat that. Cute sandals in the summer. But the nails you got to have it on point. You got to have it on point. But the dude hoof thing, I've always hated it. I'll never not hate it. And I'll never forgive Herb Street for embarrassing that intern the way he did in front of 10,000 people standing there looking at that stage. It was like he was Jesus and had a slave bending over, rubbing his hands. Come on, man. Jesus wore sandals. He definitely did, but Jesus didn't show up to my tailgate with talons that could rip a football to shreds. Jesus didn't do that. Son of a buck on the hoof. Anyways, for the 5th time today, I'm going to try and steer this ship back between the I'm going to try and steer the ship through the Strait of Hormuz, and we're going to see what happens. This show went sideways on me real fast. Real fast. Okay. I got to do some of your chats. Then I'll go to you guys that are early. Let me get through the early chats real quick, okay? I need to get my feed done for John. Omar, you might be the exception. If you show up to the Rice tailgate, it's 82 degrees, and you got a good petty, I'll check it out. Only because it's you, Omar. Only because it's you, Omar. You're the only one in the world I'll bend this rule for. Okay? Just don't show me anything else at the tailgate. Deal? Deal. Let's get into this. Oh my God, this show sometimes. $10 holler from the commander. Sully and Liam are coming up. Hang with me. I'll go through these chats real fast without getting distracted. I promise. Commander, $10 holler. Good morning, AI crew, and happy hump day. The best, most decorated high school receiver on the roster for the Irish class is Joey O'Brien. Does Notre Dame really need him at safety right now? Let's get the guy some looks at wide receiver. Before I worry about what position the guy plays, I got to worry about his health now. So unfortunate that you're a young guy that wants to carve out a niche role on this team and you got hurt in spring. Now, the other argument is if you were ever going to get hurt, maybe that's the best time because now you have, 12 weeks of downtime to try and rehab? So, you never want that for a young guy trying to earn a role on this team. But I guess if it was going to happen the next 3 months where there isn't a lot of football going on, it's a good time. It's the best of the non-good times because there's never a good time. So I got to worry about that before I worry about wide receiver. I also feel like Notre Dame thinks they have enough wide receivers that are wide receivers to work with and make it work. And I also think they believe that his talents are best used on the defense side of the ball and probably special teams when he's younger as well. But we'll see how that goes. Let's see how many of these wide receivers I can actually rely on in the rotation regularly, because I'm not sure how many there are. Right now, there's 2. You could type in the chat all you want about all the other guys and the young guys and everything else. I trust 2 guys, Mylan Graham, Jordan Faison. I don't have trust with anybody else in the receiver group. And I saw people talk about grade outs in the community chat on Patreon this morning. And did he get a raw deal kind of bumped aside or whatever? Bro, every single week last year, you were, we don't know if you can play. I got a hammy. I can play. I can't play. I can't play. I can't play. We might play. I can't play. I think I'm going to transfer. I'm not going to transfer. If you're not available to injury, I don't know what you want me or the staff to do about that, but move on. You got to be available to play. That's the baseline. Oh, man. Don't. Sully, $5 holler. I did not find the money printing machines on campus that Dabo spoke about. Could somebody please give me directions? I think we'll probably have a video tomorrow about old Dabo there. It's a tough look, but I'm going to go over some different angles of that. Good morning, Maniacs. Let's make it great. All the answers to the questions are on the roster. Now it's just a matter of could the coaching staff fill in the blanks. It's another really, really good point. When you no longer feel you're at a talent, speed, and athleticism deficit with the top teams you will match up against, it's no longer about I hope the other team messes up 8 times and keeps us in the game because otherwise we don't have talent to keep up. It's a different ball game when you believe you got the horses. Then it's about what you do. It's about your execution or lack thereof. It's amazing what happens when you're not at that talent athlete deficit anymore. It changes your winning equation. Liam, wake up the echoes. I just need one more ship before the dirt nap. It would really be nice. We had one when I was alive, but I didn't remember it as 4-year-old. I missed out. Domer fan, the real player with NIL's Indiana. Signetti's king and IU shall be a problem to deal with as long as he's head coach in Bloomington. You got to give the guy credit. I don't know. The NIL, I don't know if it's a rumor or not, but it's Shark Tank, Mark Cuban getting involved, the billionaire. I don't know, man. Whatever. Andrew, in this in-between time from spring to fall camp, all eyes are on the offense. I think we get Keidron healthy. He could be the number 2 back. We need Porter to get back healthy. And catch with Carr. Is Jags lifting? I don't know. But I said the other day on Raw to Mike, I feel better about the Notre Dame offensive line ending spring than I did entering spring. I was not expecting such glowing reviews. Usually you hear the defense is way ahead of the offense, and that's just how it is. And the offensive line takes time to gel. And it always seems to happen when your season's ruined. Then they're gelled. Aren't you happy now? No, I'm not. Be good enough to win while you're not a fully functional, self-actualized unit. I don't know why that theory is so hard for people to understand. I don't expect you to be fully self-actualized and gelled the first week. That's not the goal. You need to be good enough to win while you're working that out. Winning margin. But hearing the glowing reviews of the offensive line and how well they held up through spring gives me a lot of confidence that I didn't know I was going to leave spring having. And then in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, theoretically, you feel good about where they're at now, and you might get 2 starter level guys back to add depth to that group, whether they start right away or need a ramp up or whatever. You could have 2 starting level guys coming back to bolster a group that held its own against the Notre Dame defense, and I think is going to be one of the best ones in the country all spring. Those are good signs to me. No? Those seem like really, really good offensive lines narratives to me. So, but yeah, the Jagasaw thing is fair to ask. How much Goolsby talks about this all the time. How frustrating it is when you're rehabbing an injury and it limits your weightlifting and what you can do to bulk up. It's really, really got to be frustrating. And so I don't know how that works with him lifting and the muscle and getting back into playing shape. It's the other thing Mike talks about. There's being cleared by the doctors to do football activities. And then there's being yourself again. For a guy like Jagasaw, for a guy like KVA, that's another one that's on my mind. He seems to be a genetic freak. The recovery's going to go quick. He'll be back out there. But when is he back to that KVA thing fully? I don't have the answer to that. How long that recovery takes between the doctors clearing you for football activities and you being back to that level you were. So I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that. Multiple reports are that Jag's going to be ready to play. Bryson answered for blue and gold, just a matter of when. That's huge news. But that's a big it. That the question of when is a big ass deal. Are you talking about August camp ready for Wisconsin? Are you talking about before the trip to BYU? Or are you open to have him back for Miami? So, going to be ready to play. But yeah, when really does matter. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. I don't see how anybody who hasn't lifted in over a year could be effective. I don't know. I don't know. All right, Swandong. And then we got some people waiting. I want to get to you guys. Okay. Do you think irons or hybrids are better for beginners? Here's what I do. I gave this some thought. Here's what I would do. Sand wedges, gap wedges, 9, pitching wedge, 8, 7. Use the irons. Take your 6, 5, and 4 irons out and get 2 different hybrids to fill in those slots. That's how I would start. Eventually, you're going to need to be able to hit your thinner faced irons better. That's where I would start. 7 iron has enough loft. Even for a starter, you could get the ball in the air easy. 6, 5, 4. I don't even know if they make 3 irons anymore. None of us are hitting Jack Nicklaus's 1 irons, okay? With the face of a butter knife, right? Nobody's hitting that. I would do regular irons from your wedges down to 7. Pull the 6, 5, 4 out, put it in the garage. Get 2 different lofted hybrids for those clubs. That's what I would do. Eventually you're going to want to get better with those longer irons, but that's a comfortable start. And I know some older guys that don't swing hard and they use a few hybrids. They hit them more accurately than a lot of people hit an 8 iron. If you get the right swing, you could be very accurate with those hybrids too. So you don't necessarily have to give up iron accuracy. I know some guys who hit those hybrids like an 8 iron with the loft and the gentle fall and everything. So that's how I would do it. But eventually you're going to want to be able to hit a 6 iron and a 5 iron. But it is hard when you lose that loft. So that's what I would do. Commander. Signetti won the title with mostly 3-star guys. If that's not recognized as the number one coach, then folks are playing stupid or pathological liars. Let's be fully consistent here, though, and balance this out. It may be a lot of 3-star guys, but a lot of them have 5 years of experience. So you could say 3-star guys, that was 5 years ago. Now they're 23 years old. Finished product, you know what they do and don't do, and you go buy them. So you're not wrong about the high school star rating of that, but to be intellectually honest to the discussion, you also have to add most of them have been playing 4 or 5 years. They're grown-ass men out there with mortgages. Cigarette is 0-1 against Freeman. Isn't Notre Dame the last team that beat them? $5 hour college pigskin hour. Rico from the college pigskin hour. In a recent interview, your QB downplayed this season as a revenge tour. Do you agree with that being said mainstream? How is calling it a revenge tour down? Oh, you mean he downplayed the narrative of that? That's what you're saying. He downplayed the narrative of it being a revenge tour. Maybe there's been enough healing in the program and the frustration of what happened that they're ready to look forward and not back. I've thought about that as well, Pigskin. And thanks for joining, by the way, Rico. You're a new one. Thanks for being here. If that's the way you meant it, maybe they've healed enough that they don't want to think about last year and they're excited and just want to move forward. So maybe that's a part of it. $2 outlet for the catfish. John, you should say we're all going to wear sandals to the Rice tailgate. It's going to be warm. A lot of people will. $5 outlet from Rodney. The Fairley Boy skip from SNL with Farley and Sander. John, please let me rub your feet. Let the boy, I'm not, you guys, that makes me want to throw up just thinking about. It makes me want to throw up just thinking about. I can't handle it. I just can't handle it. And so here's the other thing, and then we'll go to the chat, the calls. Another day, and more outlets have pumped up Notre Dame. Okay, every day that goes by, I see another outlet that has Notre Dame number 2, 3, or 4, whatever in their preseason rankings. It's, how do I say this? Saban with the rat poison, how he doesn't like all that getting pumped up, and he called that media coverage rat poison for his Alabama teams. I agree. Goolsby said it Monday night. He doesn't like it being all pumped up and everything. I guess the question is, how does the team handle this? Doesn't matter what I say. Doesn't matter what fans say or the media, whatever. How does the team handle all this? I hope they're not refreshing to see Josh Pate's latest ranking and then make that a big deal. I'm sure they're not doing it. But there is also this angle to it. And I think this is real. Liam and Sully, I'm coming to you, I promise. Anybody that's been on a really good team, usually you know it before the season starts. I think back to all the best team sport teams I've been on, whether it was baseball, golf, even whatever it was. We knew in practice before the season started that we had a chance to be really, really good. And that motivates you to get more out of the group when you look around and you know you have talent. That fuels, though. It was never like, I see that we're going to be pretty good, so we don't have to push it hard in practice. It was like fuel of confidence. There's belief in us. I know we're good. Other people know we're good. Now we need to ramp it up even more. It's like momentum. It doesn't go the other way where you're like, geez, somebody has us number 2. I guess we could just sit around and eat Cheetos till August. No. You need to use the belief in Notre Dame as motivation to get better. Motivation to get better. That's how you do it. Ping pong doesn't count, John. I'll tell you what. I will bet anybody any amount of money and I'll beat you in ping pong. And I haven't even played since the lockdown and COVID. I guarantee it. I'm serious about it. I got the curve going on. Let's do it. Anybody that wants to challenge me, let's do it. We'll record it for content. I'll bet any amount of money, and I haven't even been practicing. I'm out of ping pong shape. I'm out of shape. Renee, $10 holler. What's wrong with the new ND players coming in with that juice? As long as they know the kids have the grades. Yep. It's a good point. It's a good point. Speaking of fuel, what are the gas prices in Chicago? It was just under $5 when I got gas yesterday. It was just under $5. Just under $5. Not ideal. Jared, talking about Pigskin. Do you ever talk to Pigskin Pete? I actually have been texting with him. He's coming to Chicago in a few weeks. Him and some family are going to a Cubs game. He's got extra tickets. He invited me. I'm a White Sox fan, but I would make the trip if I'm available just to be able to hang out with Pigskin Pete because he's a friend. So I would definitely do that. I'm not rooting for the Cubs. I'm a Sox guy, but I would do it just to hang out with him when he's in our area. Really good guy, family guy, nice person. I love that guy. So yeah, been talking to him. All right, Liam, welcome to the show. We got a lot going on this morning, man. What's on your mind?
John, how are you? Am I allowed to be positive about this future Notre Dame season, or do we have to continue the criticism?
You got to tread lightly with the optimism. But Liam, this is the battle of the offseason. All offseason, it's going to vacillate in our minds. The high end, the low end, what could go right, what could go wrong. You're going to go through that the next 12 weeks.
Well, to be honest, I think we're going to go 3-9. It's a sinking ship.
It's Liam. Do you understand the struggle I was talking about earlier of, on one hand, everybody's pumping up this team and the talent and top 5 to start and everything and how great it is. But then anytime I bring up the schedule, everybody's freaked out about every single game. And at some point, I'm saying you're not allowed to live in both worlds. If you're that big of a believer in this Notre Dame roster, you got to believe they're going to beat the shit out of these teams.
Aren't there question marks every single year for a position group for every single team? And aren't we returning the most production from last year? I get it that people don't know much about the running backs or the receivers after Faison, and maybe the tight ends too. But we have the problems of we have first world problems in Notre Dame. You've got your top 5 linebackers are from last year. You know what the secondary looks like. For the first time in almost a decade, you've got a returning starting quarterback.
Liam, what is the biggest, I was thinking about this compared to most springs where we're trying to figure out the depth chart or whatever. What is the biggest position of worry? Is it that boundary receiver position? I'm trying to think about where people have anxiety or don't have closure from spring or whatever. Pass catching tight end is something people are asking about. But is that other wide receiver spot, not the one area people are nervous about? But that's a pretty good starting spot for where Notre Dame is leaving spring. No?
I kind of push back against that a little bit just because of the history that Notre Dame has of producing receivers that did nothing one year and then 800 or 900 yards the next year. That's pretty much a common phenomena in Notre Dame's history of the past 10 years. I think there's 7 different examples of that happening. But what I'm a little bit more worried about is the production of tight ends within the red zone.
Yeah. And I don't know what you're going to get there. And the passing game was not a priority in spring. They didn't push it in spring with the tight ends. I'm not sure it's any of these guys' natural gifts. Can you get enough? That's the other thing, Liam. If you're not going to go to a regular league, could you get it enough to where people aren't worried about it? And you could get a couple that you need on a 3rd and 7 crosser over the middle or a nifty little design play to the tight end in the red zone. Maybe not using it a lot is the answer, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Well, I think Notre Dame also has a history of productive tight ends that the year before they were productive, we didn't know much about them. What was Reardon before last year?
Yeah, it's true. Banged up a lot is what he was.
Right.
Yeah.
What was Tremble besides his junior year? So I think that we have to trust our coaching staff to get them coached up and to be in the position to succeed. And when you've got a top returning quarterback, they put you in the position to make you look better than you are anyway.
Yeah, everybody appreciates what you're saying, but they really more than anything just want to buy your coat. That is kind of the vibe of the chat right now, Liam.
Oh, they like the coat?
Yeah, they love the
Oh.
coat. It's kind of like identical to the one I have, but in navy. The green is a good little mix up because I got the navy one of that style.
Yeah, I had kind of been hunting for the green one for a long time now, and when it re-released a few months ago, I had to spend a big chunk of my tax return check on it.
Yeah, I bet. God, I still can't get over how damn tall you are. I thought I was looking at Tion Gray when I walked into that restaurant and met you in person for the first time. Why didn't you get a little shorter or cut the beard or do something?
You know what, John? Being this tall is almost like a disability. Everything in life is a deep squat, unfortunately.
Yeah. Hey, Liam, can I throw something at you that was on my list of things to talk about as an offensive theory? Or this is on my bullet points, but I got sidetracked 40 minutes ago. I was thinking about this and I wrote about it this morning. Do you see a world where the short passing game becomes bread and butter for Notre Dame to open everything else up? Follow me here, Liam. Think about the way I'm viewing this. If you're able to get the ball in these short little passes to Faison and Graham and Bubba Frazier and Aeneas Williams out of the backfield, these nifty little medium short range passes with one block, and then we're running and all this stuff. Is that not a good way to open things up, both in the traditional run game and on the back end? Because if you're dumping it in front of that secondary, they're going to have to creep up. That opens up the pass game, and the guys that are playing at the line got to worry about what's happening a few yards behind them. Could that not be a way for Denbrock to thread the needle to try and open up run lanes and that more downfield pass game? Am I getting overexcited about that idea, or could that really be more of a heavy play for Notre Dame this fall?
No, I mean, you're talking about a bit of implementing the West Coast offense, right, to Notre Dame's playbook. There's kind of two ways that you can get the defense out of position. There's stretching the field, and then there's widening the field, right? And widening the field is going to encourage it's going to net with bigger gaps for your running backs to go through.
Yeah, it's so, and because the theory, I'm sorry, Liam, I'm distracted. Somebody just changed their moniker to Footman69, donated $2, and has a picture of their nasty hoof on my screen right now. So God bless you for the creativity. Thank you for the $2, but cover up that nasty hoof. Sorry,
that's a picture, John. That's a picture of a foot.
I hope.
Why does that person's foot look like boneless buffalo wings from Applebee's?
Quit ruining wings for me, because now I'm going to equate the two things.
Very
nice.
Stop
doing that. But back to the point here. Very creative, Footman69. I wonder how you came up with the number to add at the end too. Real mature. I'm just what is it, Billy Madison or what? Anyways.
John, I think that person is saying that they want to see more field goals made this year.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, there you go. We'll go with that one.
Bring back the barefoot punters.
Yeah, there you go. Old school, man. I still can't believe those guys used to kick with no shoe. It just seems like it hurt your foot, man. But anyways, Liam, here's what I'm thinking. You're going to want to help out this running back group and find an easier way for them to run. Nothing's going to look like Love and Price. So you got to get a little more, I think, some advantageous looks to help that run game. And I'm just figuring that if you're able to dump off these passes into little space, I just think it opens up both of the other ends of it. The deeper passing game as the secondary moves up, and then around the line of scrimmage, you be able to run the ball a little bit. I think that's a good way to get into this.
I think the offensive coordinator is going to attack each defense uniquely and try and exploit their weaknesses. If there are teams that don't have enough corners or enough secondary to cover 3 or 4 receivers, we'll do that. If there's a team that's weak up the middle, we're going to use our run game to win that game. And I think that's how things should be addressed moving forward, instead of being overly cute.
Yeah. Yeah. It's man, it's going to be seeing this offense, Liam. I'm just so interested. I would love to be in Mike Denbrock's brain for the next 12 weeks as he sits there in his own mind, coming up with the plans for next year and what he really thinks he's going to be able to rely on as the bread and butter and the go-to, and who he can rely on and what he can rely on. I think Mike Denbrock has a lot of options here, but he's got to pick right for this all to go right.
I also think this is a make or break year for the wide receiver coach. You've got 14 guys. You've got to coach up a few of them that to be starters and to be contributors on a regular basis. We've waited, I think, 3 years at this point, maybe 2 years, and now's the time to show your work.
Yeah. It seems like Notre Dame's got options now. And it seems like, Sully, I'm sorry I missed you, man. Get to your briefing. I don't want to get you in trouble at work. And so I think Denbrock's going to have options, and it's a matter of like belief and trust. What does he trust and what does he believe in regarding the new running back situation and the pass game and all these wide receivers in Carr? I think it'll be telling early against Wisconsin because you're going to figure out exactly where he's starting out and what he thinks he could trust. Super interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting in terms of what receivers we march out there as the starting three as well. And the same thing with tight ends as well. Who give you the best opportunity to win going forward? And of course, does that change as the season progresses?
Yeah. Yep. I'm with you on that. Now, I will say this. If you're going to end up in a position where the tight end isn't a big receiving threat in this offense this year, if you're going to not have that feature, you must be a high-level, willing, able blocker. And that's where I think a guy like Cooper Flanagan could really shine because he's got a nasty streak. He's not afraid to get physical. He doesn't look at blocking as like a thing you got to do, but I'd rather be out there catching 10 balls. Like, if that's the dynamic you're in, give me a guy that wants to bash heads out there, and I think that's him.
Was he the one that was rumored to be getting into it with Snead frequently during the spring training camp?
Multiple times.
I think that's great news. I know as savage as that sounds, that's what you want out of a tight end.
Yeah. So I don't know. We're gonna see what happens. And but so the tight end, I understand there's a little anxiety there, and then some of that wide receiver question may be figured out simply by Quincy Porter being healthy. That's the other thing that we can't really measure yet because you just haven't had that guy out there and available. He may eliminate the need that you have one more. You need a receiver to step up. If he's healthy, it may be it.
Yeah, I agree. I think Goolsby was talking on Monday Night Raw about he liked that kid, the fact that he sounded a little bit different, the fact that he brought a little outside juice, and that perhaps this is the type of swag that Notre Dame isn't used to dealing with regard to the skill position players. And I look forward to see what he can do.
So, man, it'll be August is going to be awesome. Get guys back healthy. You'll have a full deck. You'll know exactly what you're dealing with. Early, the first couple weeks, I want intense competition at that running back spot to see how they stack up. Intense competition for that wide receiver rotation. And obviously backup quarterback too. Like those are already heating up in my mind when we reconvene the beginning of August.
Hey, John, I had a question for you quickly, and this has been in the back of my head for a month or so. Do the naysayers still get to come to the championship party if it happens? I mean, the contrarians, the people that are always negative, the pessimists, are they welcome as well, or do they kind of have to celebrate by themselves at their home?
Here's my answer to that. If I know it's people that genuinely love Notre Dame, they can still come. But if it's people that are playing games or trolling or just come in here to get us worked up, but they don't love Notre Dame, I'm going to say no. But there's This is where that graduate psychology degree comes in. There's a lot of people here that love Notre Dame, think about it every day of their life, go to bed thinking about Notre Dame, wake up thinking about Notre Dame. They are terrified of these expectations that this is going to be the biggest letdown, kick to the sack ever. And they're protecting their emotions by hedging on the negative to try and not be let down because they can't handle it, especially this year. Those people are having an internal battle in their heart and their mind. They love Notre Dame. Deep down, they know Notre Dame's going to be good. They just don't have it in them to publicly lean into that positivity because it does set up like the biggest gut punch of all time. Those people I'm going to welcome because I know they're tortured, but they love Notre Dame. That I genuinely think we're seeing that.
So we just have a chat filled with tortured souls, you'd say.
Tortured Irish souls, baby. That's been the way for people our age. That Liam, that's pretty much been our life at early 40s. The tortured Irish soul, right when you think something good's gonna happen, you get punched.
Punched, suspended, hurt, kicked off the team, losing to Navy, all the good things.
Losing to Navy. That's fantastic. Liam, anything else on your mind, brother? What else you got?
Nope, Johnny, I'm spent. Thank you so much. And the show was wonderful. Keep up the good work. Hopefully one day we'll be able to turn Always Irish into a pill and we could just take it in the morning and feel optimistic about Notre Dame football.
Oh man, I love the ride. It's all a part of the journey, Liam, up and down and all the mind games and all the heartstrings pulled. It's all about the journey, baby. Hey, love the jacket. Have a good one.
Bye, Johnny.
Take care. Oh man. John was never taught misery loves company. Actually, John, it's just people who hate life. Well, that could be too. I'm just done with it all. I'm done with it all. I'm just telling, at least you guys were alive for a championship. What good did it do me at 4, though, Jared? It's not like I was running up a bar tab when I was at TJ's when I was 4 and we won it all. I got to ask my dad what it feels like for us to be number 1. What a loser position. Way to be born in the wrong generation, man. Right between all the good stuff. Unbelievable. Tex ND asks, Rodney, you're coming up. Ranch or blue cheese? Absolutely not. Completely horrified and disgusted by both. I don't understand even the theory of blue cheese. I don't understand what that is or what it means, but it sounds like it smells like puke. Ranch, I'm sorry, man. But you see these people that bring their own ranch in their purse and then go out and dump it on everything. You guys got problems. You got problems. Mayo to just all of this stuff you can lump together. I'm disgusting. Makes me want to barf. You eat your wings with nothing on them? No. When I get wings, they're like, what do you want? And I say honey barbecue, and they come with honey barbecue flavor. What else do you need? How fancy do you people have to get? When I order wings, I'm not getting, that's the other thing that bothers me. Some of you wing guys, everybody knows has their friends that are wing guys. They act like it's a competitive sport for us to go to Buffalo Wild Wings, and they look at the menu and the thing with the sauces and the one where people are it's on fire and their eyes are bleeding. And oh yeah, I need that one. I need the hottest one you got. And the whole time they're sitting there trying to enjoy their lunch. They're sweating. They got tears. They're crying. It's just like, how is that what you want to eat? And if it's like that coming in, what's it going to be like when it leaves? I always think of that too. If you're sweating and you're in tears while we're eating lunch, what's it going to be like 6 hours later in your bathroom? I can't handle that. But all of this stuff, ranch, blue cheese, mayo, unnecessary. And I don't even want to know. Somebody's got to tell me this. I don't know the answer to this. I don't. Angela can confirm this. She went out to eat with me at Buffalo Wild Wings, not just 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. The other thing is these salad dressings, I don't tartar sauce. Come on, bro. Why are you asking me stuff you know the answer to? I don't even know what that means, but the answer is no. Talking about salad dressings, some of them literally smell like puke. They literally smell like what puke smells like. And I see people dumping it on their salad and I get a whiff. It literally triggers my thought of someone barfed. Where is it? What little kid just ralphed all over the Texas Roadhouse? Oh, nothing. It's just this lady's salad dressing. It smells like barf. It just does. It smells like bitter puke to me. You people need to simplify things. Everything doesn't need everything. So what's your favorite dressing? None. I don't use dressing. What would I use dressing for? I don't eat salad. The whole concept of salad blows my mind. It's like you mowed your grass, raked up what you mowed, put it on the plate, added some other stuff, and then said it was a meal. I don't understand salad. Crunchy water. It is crunchy water. There's no taste. It's crunchy water. I'll never understand salad. I got to become friends with a rabbit. I don't understand. I've never understood it. And the other thing, this is what gets me. A lot of women do this. Oh, I'm not going to eat, a Big Mac. I'm going to get a salad instead. And they get a salad and they proceed to add 2,000 calories of dressing and a bunch of other crap on the salad to where it's more calories than a Baconator, but they convince themselves it's healthy. But they dump 90 pounds of the worst salad dressing on it, and you're canceling out all the health. I don't understand. Hard to beat a good salad. I've never met a good salad. I don't understand. It's crunchy water. I don't understand it. I'll never get it. And you know what else, too? Sometimes salad people have a little attitude. They're looking at me with my chicken fingers and fries or my burger and fries, and the salad people are looking at you a certain way. It's kind of the way those people, the people that have the mileage they ran in the race on the back of their car. It's that kind of thing where they're not like overtly looking down on you, but they kind of are, because they ran for 80 miles. That's how salad people look at me sometimes. Unbelievable. Caesar dressing is raw egg and anchovies. That is horrible. Chicken fingers, are you 12? I'm going to tell you this. When you're on the road, when you're traveling, when you're in a weird city, you're at a new restaurant or whatever, where you're somewhere where squirt protection is paramount, you go to chicken strips. That's my go-to. If you got to fly somewhere, you're in a weird restaurant, and then you're going out and you can't afford to dump your pants after you eat, you got to get something you can rely on. Even a burger sometimes you can't trust. So you do the chicken strips with the breading. You really can't mess them up as long as they're cooked. That's my go-to in a weird spot for underwear protection. Yes, I did say squirt protection. It's my biggest fear in life is having diarrhea in public. It's just a nightmare. So you got to protect against that. Chicken strips are hard to mess up. They're hard to mess up. So you could always do that. Yeah, you could do that. Definitely get a basic bacon cheeseburger out of state or on the road. You just got to be careful, man. You got to make sure it's cooked right. Tyler, what's going on? Welcome, brother.
Hey, Johnny, how are you?
I don't know what's going on today. We got 12 weeks of nothingness till football's back, but I'm all worked up, man. It's just good to be here talking Notre Dame with the people. What's up?
Yeah, I'm always listening. It's been a little while since I called, but I was triggered today. I was triggered today by the opening comments, If we're going to be here in year 5 and say, is this the year? We cannot be worrying about Rice. If this is we go out there and we are struggling with Rice in the first half, to me, nothing has changed. We always talk about it, right? When are we going to see that just flip, right? Has it been slowly flipping the past 2 to 3 years to where we're not worried about these little teams anymore. And I get that people will say you can't have it both ways because as soon as we let our guard down and we think we're going to blow people out, well, that's when something really bad happens, right? But when is it eventually going to flip to where we are this elite powerhouse to where these little teams that we play, it is no factor? Like, I was just triggered by that this morning. When are we going to flip the page?
Okay. So, God, I love that. And by the way, I want you to know multiple people did ask me if you and your family were going to be at Blue and Gold. And I just wanted you to know that multiple people specifically asked because they really liked when you were there. And so I just wanted you to know that that people think of you guys that way. So compliment to you on the impression you made on the Always Irish group. That's first. Okay.
Beautiful. Yep. Love it. Love it.
Next, I struggle with this too. Jay Carr says, Tyler, he's 1-3 in home openers. So how do you strike the balance between having confidence in this team that it's going to be different, but understanding that they still have to prove it? And it is a fact. Freeman's September and home records are not what I would want. For as much as he's done and won all those games that since Leahy in the first 4 years, all these records, I'm still saying I need you to protect September and home field better. That is true. But if you believe this team is the team, man, you got to have confidence they're going to be able to do that.
Correct. And that's where just the Notre Dame factor comes in every single year. There's always an angle to have a Notre Dame type thing happen. There's always an angle, right? And man, September has been brutal. Jay Carr is right. 1-3 in home openers. Yes, one was against Texas A&M, right? We had the NIU, we had the Marshall. The Texas A&M one is what it is. We gave that up. But when you look at 1-3 in home openers, it's not good.
Yeah.
It's simply not good. It's troublesome. It's troubling for all of us. I'm sure it's troubling for Freeman. But when you look at the just overall picture of this, the roster, the schedule setup, the September games, have we ever had this type of setup before? We've had favorable schedules, but maybe not the talent on the roster that we really want. Now it seems like everything is encompassed. We've got the coordinator, we've got the head coach that everybody wants, we've got the roster. So, God, man, for us to not take advantage of this, it's almost like it's being served up to us on a freaking platter for us to just go take it.
That's
Right?
what it feels like, because for the first time in a long time, multiple things line up in Notre Dame's favor. The way the schedule is set up could not be more favorable regarding when the big games are and the way things are spread out. Could not be more favorable. You have a very deep athletic roster people respect, a returning quarterback with on the Heisman radar. Like, you have all of that. You have a coach that's hitting his stride. He isn't the new guy anymore. You have your coordinators returning. There's a lot of boxes that are checked that say this could be different, but only if Notre Dame stays on the straight and narrow path, does what they're supposed to do. If you get off this path and you lose a goofy game in September, all bets are off. You're right back where you started. One more loss, you're in the Pop-Tart Bowl. It's the line here is that thin, man. The line here is that thin between championship and literally the Pop-Tarts Bowl again at 10-2. There's a thin margin now.
It's razor thin. Razor thin. Everything's setting up good, but let's go out and prove it. Let's go out and prove it. Let's show that we've made the turn. All this stuff of leave no doubt. I want to see it on the field. I don't want to hear anybody talking about it. When we go play Wisconsin, do it. When we have the home opener against Rice, do it. Blow them out by 50. Score 60. Act as if you're mad. Act as if that playoff you just flashed on the screen again. Literally embrace that, which I think they're doing. But I want to see it on the field. That emotion and that anger, play with it. Play violently and just do what you know you can do. This team is set up for success if we just stay healthy. Freeman will stay the course. He's always got them locked in. Man, I just want to see it. So, I was triggered this morning about it. I'm so hesitant, right? I'm so hesitant to fall into the trap.
Yeah.
I'm hesitant to fall into it, but I can feel myself falling into it as the, summer's kicking underway now. When we get to August and September, I feel like I'm going to be dove in. I'm going to dive in full in that this is the team that we're going to make a run at this. And I just
Yeah,
I don't want to be let down.
and then it's also, it is an intellectual battle between feeling confidence in your team this year and not taking for granted that you got to go out there and perform and win all these games. So I'm struggling because I have that confidence and I want to believe in it, but it is true. There's been a lot of September struggles. It just can't happen this year.
It can't happen this year. Of any years that it can happen, Freeman's year 5, quarterback returning, not only quarterback returning, but elite quarterback returning. All this talent for him. The defense is supposed to be absolutely incredible. Too much is setting up. If something does go wrong, then something is very wrong.
Yeah,
Not just
and
a little, it's not just a little mishap. If something does go wrong in September, there's going to be huge questions everywhere.
here's the other thing, and this is going to come off very arrogant. And I don't like saying it, but it is a thought in my mind. But when I say it or write about it, it comes off very poorly on Notre Dame's side. The thought is, Tyler, this regular season is so much more about what Notre Dame does internally than it is the opposition. Do you understand what I mean? This specific 12-game slate, I think, is a battle of Notre Dame doing what it needs to do and internally, way more than it's about the other teams we play. Do you get what I mean by that and why I feel uncomfortable saying it? Because he kind of comes off bad to your opponent, but do you get what I mean?
Yeah, not only do I understand what you mean, but I 100% agree with it. It's one of those things, right? If you stack everything up, university to university, team to team, we are inevitably going to roll the ball out there and be expected to win. So it's not about what the other team does. It is all about internally, what is Notre Dame doing? How are we playing the game? How are we approaching the week leading up to the big games, BYU and Miami? It's all about us. I could not agree more. If we go out there and lay an egg somewhere or something bad happens to us, we can internally look at ourselves and say that was our fault. The other
Yeah,
team, the other programs, they are not on a caliber of us, or they shouldn't be at least, to where they are impacting how our season is unfolding. I 100% agree. It
here's
is
the
in our
simplest
it's
way
in
to
our
look at it.
hands.
The simplest calculation I could come up with is the classic one. I look at the 12 opponents and I ask, who is on Notre Dame's level as far as roster, talent, and athleticism? To me, Notre Dame clearly has better athletes and a deeper roster than 11 of the 12 opponents. And the 12th one, I think, is a good debate. But Notre Dame's got more raw talent, depth, and athleticism on the roster than 11 of the 12 teams they play right out the gate. That is what I mean when I'm looking at, like, if you just do what you should do, 11-1 is the bottom and 12-0 is the top, and that's it.
Yep.
Otherwise, you've really messed something up.
Yeah. Yeah, correct. If 10-2 happens again, you've really messed something up, and really it would hurt even more, right? Going 10-2 again, especially considering what happened last year. You know what 10-2 did to you last year. You know what the committee did to you. It is completely off the table. If you're 10-2, something went horribly wrong, and not only because of other things that happened, but you can only look at yourself, kind of like last year, right? We were in both of those two first games. And what did we do all year? And then even after the playoff committee made their final choice, we looked internally. It was on us. We gave A&M the game, and we just weren't prepared for Miami. So we just can't go 2 years in a row where it's strictly on us, right? I get that the ball bounces a bad way sometimes, or other teams are trying as well. They're Division I athletes too, but man, it just truly seems everything is in our control. If you take care of business, you're going to get into that playoff. And then it's just a matter of putting together a good stretch of games to go do this. That's it.
Yeah, man. It's just time. And this is where the schedule's really advantageous, because in my mind, you should have that first handful of games to work out the kinks figure out who's in what role, what your rotations need to be, who could do what and whatever. You should be able to comfortably navigate all of those items in the first handful of games while collecting wins. So you're just about peaking for that trip to Provo for BYU. Like that's how I see it, man. Like you're not playing the two most athletic teams. You're playing right out of the gate with the new quarterback and a new DC. Like the way this schedule sets up is for a playoff run, period.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, the buildup of the schedule, it just all sets up perfectly. And there's a little magic with Lou passing. It's the first year without him around. Dude, I feel myself. I'm slipping into it, Johnny. I'm slipping into the trap.
Yeah.
Is it okay? Tell me this. Is it okay to slip into it? Of any year to slip into it, is it okay to do it this year?
I mean, some years where we know we probably don't even have a chance, you convince yourself of a path in the summer where it could happen just to get you by. Like you may as well lean into it in a year where people actually think we're going to be good.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But I'm serious. This schedule sets up for a deep playoff run and ideal playoff position, whether it's a bye or a first round home game. This schedule sets up for it. If you don't get it, Notre Dame is really messed up, and this is going to get ugly because you're 10-2. You're in the Pop-Tarts Bowl again, and you may not be able to say no twice in a row.
That's the thing, right? Can we decline 2 in a row? Probably not. Like we got to keep some respect.
2 ain't on the table. 10-2 is not on the table. It's just
not. No, and that's where the expectation, right? It's the trap of the expectation. But anything worse than 11-1 is an absolute failure. We're not making the playoff with this schedule, and we're sitting at home again. You cannot do it. You can't do it. So
that's where the schedule talk is so interesting because everyone's focusing on what an easy run Notre Dame has to the playoff and all this kind of stuff, right? People are focusing on that. The downside of having a lighter schedule is if you have a slip up that's unexpected, it's very hard to make up that ground. That's the razor's edge of it. It's only a great schedule to make a run if you win the games. If you mess up somewhere stupid, there's not enough juice there to make up for it. It's dangerous. This has got to be the year you put it all together.
Has to be. And is there some sort of pressure on Freeman and the team with that? Maybe, but I think it could be good pressure as well. All the words and all the talk coming from the camps and the spring practices and stuff. This is a confident football team. This is a team that's loaded with talent. They're all competing against each other, making each other better, but they're confident, man. And that's what I really, truly think the difference is going to be. Roll the ball out against Rice. Andrew Gilmore said, this is what triggered me. I like Andrew. I like how he contributes, but Rice will be tricky. They're a triple option team. Bull crap. Get out of here with that mentality. If you're a diehard, love the freaking Irish, I understand your skepticism. I haven't seen a championship either. But at the same time, though, look at what we have. Look at what we've built. Have a little confidence in the squad to say, I don't care if Rice is a triple option or not. It's not going to be tricky. And if it is, we got bigger problems than that. So
and again, though, I understand both sides of it. Looking in your mind at the upside, but also being like, I don't know, our September home record's pretty shaky, and I want to see it prove that I don't have to worry about that anymore. I think that's fair too. But these are the mind games that we're going to play for the next 4 months. It is what it is. Your mind is going to be all over all these outcomes, I think, this whole downtime in the summer.
100%, dude. And then, going into Lambeau for week 1, it's Notre Dame-y, right? It's going to be a Notre Dame-y summer. All these scenarios, all these things that are going on. But how nice is it going to be if we actually do get out of September? And we get into October and we're not sitting on the edge of our seat every single week, knowing that it's a.
You know what I was thinking about, man? I was thinking about this last night. I was thinking about the post-game shows and like how much juice there is because everybody's emotional, good or bad, like how intense the flavor is of the post-game shows because it's right after a game and we're all either happy or miserable. I was thinking about like how badly I just want to come on there when we're 1-0 and we beat Wisconsin and you start out with that win on the right foot and we're not all miserable and there's things you're going to want to clean up and things I'm sure we don't do perfect. But like I want to get there to where this team performs well week 1 and we start off well.
Dude, outside of the tailgates, last year's blue and gold and the Purdue game, the number one best always Irish memory that I have is after A&M in the title run year, coming onto the show, the energy and just how happy everybody was. That
Yeah.
was the almost one of the best feelings I've ever had as a Notre Dame fan. Not even just the game, the after effect of the Always Irish after show. It was
Yeah, and you know what
incredible.
else? The
It was
playoff
awesome.
wins. The playoff win games had that too. Like there was, and after Penn State especially, like, and that is like there's a high you get from that electricity, and I'm addicted to chasing that. That's why I do this every day to touch that live wire again of that level of football juice. Like I'm starved for it.
Me too. Me too. Yeah. After the playoff run was incredible. We're up till 1, 2 in the morning, listening to everybody come on and chat. There's nothing better than that. But you know what's better than that is when we do it after a title. We do it after a title.
Could you
And
imagine?
I can't. I almost can't imagine, but it is going to freaking happen, right? Freeman, dude. I just have this belief that Freeman is the guy to do it. I have belief in CJ. I have belief in everything that is going on with the program right now. At this point, it's just a matter of seeing it. We just got
Yeah.
to do it. We just
Yep.
got to do it.
But dude, this summer is going to play mind games with everyone, and I think that's natural. And it does show you're a critical thinker if you're not in one doom and gloom camp or everything's perfect camp. If you're able to vacillate in your mind of what could go right, what could go wrong, and all that, I think that's very healthy. If you're able to go into compartmentalize into those different places, I think that's a healthy way to get through the summer. But it's gonna mess with you. It's
I
gonna
mean,
mess with you.
these past 30 years is why it messes with us. I mean, I was born in 92. I've seen nothing but chaos every year. If that's what it's been for me.
Yeah.
So it's either really good with a little bit of bad or it's really bad. Right.
Yeah, you're
So
right. But hey, either way, we're going to ride the wave together and we're going to be here together and we're going to get through it. The good, the bad, the in the middle, everything else. It's going to be a long 12 weeks here as we get to August. So we're going to have to, we're going to play a lot of mind games.
it will. And, it's funny, we live down here in New Smyrna Beach, Florida, right? Dr. John, I met a doctor at LA Fitness where I work out. He went to Notre Dame. He lives down here. He's going to grab us some tickets for Miami. He's like, I get 10 of them per year for the home games. He's like, how many do you want? I said, well, I want some for Miami. So we'll be at the Miami game. The Neppers will be there for Miami. It's going to be epic.
Man. And the tailgate will be awesome. So it'll be great to see you for that. So, hey, Tyler, thanks for jumping in, man. Always good. I know you guys are busy, but I really appreciate when you make time to hop in.
No, and I appreciate all the effort you put into the off season. Obviously, it's super tough in the summer when things are slow and college football talk is basically at its lowest point, but appreciate all the effort you put into the shows, everything that you put out. It really helps us get through the year. So can't wait to see you guys in the fall.
Hey, thanks a lot, brother. Jump in whenever you get a chance. Really appreciate you, man. What a nice family. What an absolute nice family. Rodney, you're coming up. Jay Carr, John's death row meal, a plain hot dog for Notre Dame Stadium, saltines, chicken fingers, and a cup of Pepto. I mean, what do I need the Pepto for? If you really think about it, what do I need to wash my last meal down with Pepto for? Because I don't plan on being around to see what's going to happen at the exit. But if I order that meal, anybody that's sitting on that board there deciding who gets the penalty or not, they're going to be like, yeah, looking at this guy's menu, we definitely made the right move signing this guy up for the guillotine. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, you guys. You guys are funny, man. You guys are really, really funny. Any of you Chicago residents hearing anything on David Fuller Rush? No, me and Goolsby have been texting with Zibikowski. So we'll see what happens. But we've been texting with him. He's going to come on the show. But if you believe in this, Tom Lemming accidentally made a tweet public saying Notre Dame landed the guy. What a big get. And then he deleted it. Very, very interesting that happened. As a content guy, we all know when Notre Dame's going to land a recruit. So if it's a big one, You prepare your article and video a day before, so when it officially becomes real, you just hit publish and you're not wasting an hour editing and creating a video then, and then you're buying the news. I don't know if that's what happened with Lemming or not, but I'm just saying I do that. When I know we're going to get Joey O'Brien or whatever, you make a video the day before. So then when it happens, you're right there live and relevant that second. Is that what happened? And he had it saved as a draft and accidentally hit publish? I don't know. I'm not saying I know. But man, it feels like a good fit. A Chicago Catholic League guy with a famous Notre Dame player as the head coach apparently has the grades and everything to get in, and the pipeline's perfect. You can't ask for a better Notre Dame, Chicago to Notre Dame setup than that. Can you? Can't. Imagine planning an imaginary party. How is this not an ounce of insanity or crazy or delusion? Kent, me and Pat said many years ago, if Notre Dame ever wins it all, we are hosting a party, just an absolute free-for-all, renting out a place, having a DJ, and we're just having a rager, and everybody's invited, and it'll go on all night. And I mean that, and I have dreams like once a month of that party in my head. Once a month. And I keep saying it. The common theme of the dream is me and Goolsby walking out to like address the crowd, and We Are the Champions is playing in the background. Like once a month, I have the dream, man. My brain is a messed up place. Don't question it. Just roll with it. Imodium, Costco size. The problem with the Imodium is like the pill Imodium, like what sometimes it takes a while to kick in. And sometimes I don't have a while. By the time it kicks in, the disaster's already happened in public. I'm throwing my underwear in the garbage. By that time, that's the issue with this stuff. It takes a while to kick in. That's why that original Pepto you drink is the answer. You can feel it creating a steel barrier around your innards. That's the stuff you like, man. Tex ND. Can't have Freeman's September record and say I'm not worried. I will worry because he showed a consistent stat line of 4 years in this area. Cannot simply disregard it at this point. Leave no doubt has to happen. That's fair. It's fair. You can exist in a world where you're confident Notre Dame is beyond those issues, but you need it verified this year on the field to know it for sure. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not an inconsistent position to hold. I think that is completely justified and fair. Completely fair. Andrew Gilmore, raw talent. Notre Dame's strength is their experience on defense. Are we sure that it's wide receiver and running back group are these amazing athletes? Here's where my mind goes, Andrew. I know why you're asking that. Here's where my mind goes on that one. What I think is, overall, I think this is the deepest, most athletic Notre Dame roster we've seen in the modern era overall. I think there's more guys that could rotate into key roles with a lower drop-off between the first guy, the second guy, the third guy. This overall operation, I feel like there's more better athletes to work with. I don't feel like one or two injuries and you're totally screwed. Like when we played Clemson in the playoff game and you had a secondary guy get hurt and then they target that spot nonstop and shred you. Really good coaching, by the way. Really good coaching, by the way, for all of that staff on Clemson to identify one of Notre Dame's best guys back there defending the passes out. We're going to throw right to that guy's spot over and over again. And it worked. I just think there's more depth and more guys that could contribute without a huge drop-off. It is interesting, though. The returning production you hear about. Oh, Notre Dame's going to return in all this production or whatever. Yeah, but where is it? Carr, offensively. The whole defense. All the skill positions, though, aren't returning any of the production. That has me on edge a little bit. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but you got to be careful. If you want to brag about Notre Dame's bringing back all this production or whatever, yeah, but where is it? Defense and your quarterback. It ain't the running backs. It ain't the tight ends. It ain't the wide receivers. There's some risk in that. There's some unknown in that. However, there could be tremendous upside through that dynamic as well. How do you know you lost Love and Price. How do you know you're not going to like this new offense a little more? Little more balance, downfield threat, middle of the dump off passes, slip screens, whatever, and run the ball. How do you know you're not going to have a more well-rounded offense you end up liking more? I don't know. I'm just asking the questions, but it makes me nervous when people reference that high returning production rate because it isn't at some of the key places I need it to be. All the offensive skill spots. Better be good enough. That's all I'm saying. It better be, whatever you're doing, it better end up being good enough. Rodney, good morning, brother.
Good morning, John. I don't know how long this is I'm gonna be able to be on here with good reception. I'm driving right now. I got to about 11:35, then I got to get off the phone. However, I'll make a couple points, and if you lose me, maybe you can just talk about them off the air or off the call. Sure. A couple things occurred to me. We go into these seasons expecting a certain product to go on the field, and I understood was it Tyler? I think it was a couple callers ago that said, how do we know? Or you were getting so tired of the Rices and the Northern Illinois and the Marshalls giving us fits. But my question is this: these seasons never really go how we predict, and I'm not saying that means they're going to be a loss here or a loss there, but I got a feeling the bottom end of the schedule is going to be better than we think. But what mid teams, John? This is my question for you. What mid teams, maybe? What games are we not looking at that maybe become a tougher game than we thought? Or God forbid, we got to pull it out at the end of the fourth quarter if that indeed happens.
Good point about the back end of the schedule. I do have some people who have popped up saying SMU Syracuse may be a more difficult run towards the end of the year than people are expecting, especially if you have a healthy Angeli all the way through the year for Syracuse. And then SMU could sneak up and bite. They're one of those teams that could sneak up and bite you if you're not ready. I have heard some of that. I don't know, man. Are you worried at all going to North Carolina and facing Belichick at their place? Does that register to you at all?
No, I don't, because here's the thing. I think the things that Freeman have, listen, there has been some problems that have come back up, but for the most part, when a problem is presented to Freeman, he fixes it within a year. I just don't see the top end talent we're going to face. We're going to be ready for those games this year, because they're at the end of the schedule. And I don't think the bottom end is going to hurt us, because I think that's been such a narrative that I think they're going to. But I'm just worried about some of the mid teams. Even Wisconsin, dude, I'm not sure what we're going to see there. I got this weird feeling Wisconsin's going to be better than we think. Again, I'm not saying we're going to lose.
Oh, man. Yeah, and there is that narrative about, Fickle's back's against the wall. They want to run him out of town.
That's exactly why, John. That's exactly why.
There's some pressure there. And then I saw they didn't fire him. I think it was a financial decision not to fire him. But then they did get some reassurances they were going to double down on NIL investment for football to help out. But then I thought I saw their AD left, and now there's a new guy that isn't who didn't hire Fickle. So I don't know what the deal is there. Rodney, let me bring up another corridor in this schedule and see what you think. You got Navy, Miami. Boston College is the game right after Miami. And I know you're old enough to remember a big, huge home game in 93 against a team from Florida, and Notre Dame wins. We're flying high. And then Boston College, sleepy old Boston College, 1 week later. I'm just saying it's on my radar that it's right after the buildup of that Miami game. It's on my radar.
And fair enough. And who knows? The ones, John, you mentioned the two games that worry me the most, though. The SMU game and the Syracuse game. Is if Angeli's playing and he's healthy and he's, full go, I worry about that one. I actually worry about that one because Syracuse has been pretty good last couple of years. I think I know they fell down after Angeli got hurt, but I'm saying with Angeli. And then I don't know, SMU just scares me a little bit. Maybe scares not the right word, but certainly to be, we can't just rest on our laurels on that one. But yeah, SMU,
Rodney, what are laurels? I've used that phrase and I've said
I
it
don't
before.
know. I don't know. I've always used it too.
I don't know what the hell laurels are, but I've used the phrase before. What am I resting on?
You put me on the spot. I just use that phrase. I know what it means contextually, but I can't tell you, Sean. I don't know.
I don't know what they are, but I'm resting on them, damn it.
Right. Anyway, John, I don't really have more than
Let me make you feel better about this. Let me make you feel better about this. Here's my thought. Under Freeman, Notre Dame teams have played way better on the back end of the schedule when they have things figured out. Notre Dame is peaked at the back end of these schedules with Freeman. I would like to hope by the time you reach that point, if you're in playoff contention, this team is flying high. That makes me feel a little better because they have trended up throughout the year under Freeman.
Yeah, and John, I got to leave right after this. I'm about to turn into my location, but I will say, and I don't expect them to. I expect them to win, but remember that USC game a couple years ago was, that was tough right up until the end. We had those 2 interception returns for touchdowns, but up until that point, it was it was a nail biter. I could see Syracuse game be something like that where, we're going in with 1 loss on our record. Yeah, I still don't think we're going to be undefeated, but whatever, we'll see. And then that game's way too close to make us feel comfortable. But then at the very end, we pull it out with a 10-point win because of a turnover or something like that. Anyway, John, I'm going to leave you with that. But yeah, just thinking about some of these teams that might be a little better than we think. Wisconsin's the one that I don't, for whatever reason, that's the one that's gnawing at me, man, because it is early in the season. Well, very early. It's the first game.
Week 1 variance. Weird things happen in the first game of the year that aren't going to happen throughout the year. You always got to be aware. I always talk about week 1 variance. It could work for you and it could work against you. Rodney, get on out of here. Thanks, buddy. Somebody, Swan Dong, I'm going to pull up you defining laurels. Kent. Mine was when Pat and John brought the whole family on and they were so happy after Syracuse. And 3 weeks later, look at those shitty faces. I'm telling you, Kent, this program never gets more viewers than when something bad has happened to Notre Dame. It is unbelievable the number spike I get whenever something bad happens to this team. It's unbelievable. When we're winning games or whatever, it's pretty consistent. Whenever something dumb happens, my numbers skyrocket because everyone wants to see John mad. Everyone wants to tune in and see me miserable. And let's be honest, I played that game too. When Kelly was failing at LSU, watching those LSU post-game shows after Kelly failed, it was better than X videos. I'm serious. It was that fulfilling for me. Must-see TV to watch those hosts squirm when they're miserable. And that's why people come here too. Triple X rating, baby. Look at this. Oh, boy. NK Irish. Boston College green jersey game in 02 with Willingham. I'll never forget that because we fumbled like 6 or 7 times. I think we fumbled in that game. And I'll never forget the argument and debate over whether those new alternate green jerseys were slick on the fabric, on the numbers. And that's why we fumbled like 7 times. Unbelievable. I'll never forget it. Although you could argue, wasn't Was that not the year that was smoke and mirrors we were winning with, where we didn't have an offensive touchdown for like 4 games, but we were winning with defense and special teams every week? We would get like pick sixes and all this stuff. Like, so there was still, I remember even in my youth being like 17 years old, having some doubt about the legitimacy of Notre Dame's unblemished record because they won like the first 4 games without an offensive touchdown or something. So I was on alert that the bottom was going to fall out, but it couldn't be at home against BC and with those jerseys. It just couldn't be. Yeah, they were 8-0, but I remember thinking, I don't know if I believe in all this, but it couldn't come down that way. Couldn't come down that way. That is why John worries so much. He's really wanting bad things to happen so he gets better ratings. Here's the problem with that outbound. It's a flash in the pan. A lot of those people only come when something bad happens for Notre Dame, and then they get their fix of me being miserable, and then they bounce. So it gives you a 1 video spike, a 1 live stream spike, but then it goes right back down. Very rarely do those people subscribe and then stay regularly, unless Notre Dame's losing a lot. Then they will. Catfish! Dude, it looks like you're trapped in a dungeon. Where are you working today? The boiler room of the Titanic?
Yeah, because we're on our way to the daddy, okay? So, look, this tugboat's going. All I'm going to say is, look, I got a couple things to say. First of all, I hope your day's blessed. Everybody else's. But you went off at the beginning of the show about Miami, and you want the weather bad, and I get it. I completely get it. But I want to beat their ass when the weather's good. Because you know what? We're not going to win a national title if we can't do that. And this is my thing. Everybody wants to talk about Rice. Everybody wants to talk about being worried. If you can't beat Rice in the option, game 1 at home, you're not winning the national title. Or it's going to be hard to even get there. You don't beat Miami when the weather's nice, you're probably not going to have a good game out in Pasadena if you have to play there. Or, Miami. In the playoffs against whoever. You have to beat these teams in any weather at any time. And my thing is I understand what you're trying to say. You're like, I want everything. This team is not like old teams. We don't have the holes where we need to hope that they don't call a flag on, 12 guys on the field on a extra point attempt or whatever, or a field goal attempt. We don't have that type of team, but there are going to be games like that we don't realize. This schedule is not going to name one team. Well, name 5 teams that has won a national title in the last 30, 40 years that did not have a game during the season that they struggled against teams they shouldn't have. You're going to have teams that you struggle against. There's going to be games like that. Most generally, it's against a sneak up, a letdown game. That's why they call them that. So we're going to have games like that, but it can't be right out the gate against NIU, and it can't be, these teams that all year long were winning with smoke and mirrors, like you just said, with defensive touchdowns and interceptions and stuff. We have to be able to win different ways. That's why I like your point with the short passing game, because if they can get that early in the year, I think that's going to help because Carr likes to go deep. He likes to. Last year, he proved it. How many times did you see him going over the top? So if we can master that short passing game, intermediate, that's just going to make that over the top that much better and more dangerous.
It's kind of a middle ground way to open up the downfield pass game and also make it a little easier for the new running backs to get going. And I think you have the athletes to be able to do it. I think you have some guys that could make that happen.
But if you don't start with that, this is my thing. They have to be able to get up on teams. I don't want them working on crap that you're going to need those things. But I don't want them working on crap like they did against Texas A&M and Miami game 1 and 2, where they're working on prevent defense and zone and this, that. Win those games. And then that's where you work on those little things when you get up on teams. You don't work, you beat those teams with what makes your team strong. and you work on your weaknesses throughout the years that in playoff times. You can't lose those games working on your weaknesses game one. You have to get up on these teams. So work on that short passing game so that you could go ahead and be better at what you do better. Defensively, come out smoking. Don't come out, oh, we're going to go against Rice because we should beat them playing prevent. And then all of a sudden we're in the fourth quarter against them and it's, 21-20 and they got the ball and we're hoping that, they don't kick a field goal, but the thing.
You're so right though about the easiest thing every college football fan does all summer is look at your team schedule and other team schedules and go easy win, loss, easy win. In June, it's really easy to fly down a schedule and assign those wins and losses. You never know what it's going to be like when the ball kicks off that day. And that's why there are upsets. That's why Notre Dame loses to Marshall or Northern. So all of that mind game I play when the ball gets kicked off, it's 0-0, baby.
Well, but at the same time, when that happens, John, if you win a game or two like that, that's fine. But the majority, the meat of your schedule, the meat of your team can't be like that. It can't be like that more than it's not. And so when these teams are winning close games like that, when it comes to playoff time, your team's a pretender. You know what I mean? Like, it, you feel it. Like you could go and watch those teams that are dogs. You know what I mean? Like those good teams, like that Clemson team that struggled a couple times in that ACC schedule. You knew that Trevor Lawrence team was legit, and you knew that they were going to be dangerous when they got to the playoffs. That's what we want our team to be. We want to come out and we want to win different ways. I wrote down, look at OSU and the way they beat us in the national title game. OSU beat us running the ball and playing defense that game. They didn't beat us throwing that ball around. They beat us because we couldn't stop the run. So all year long, that team was throwing the ball around, mixing in the run. But they won the national title because they could run the ball. You know what I mean? And that's what we have to be able to do. We have to be able to pivot in certain games and win in different ways. They have to be. They can't, because when you get to the playoffs in this format now, it's different than back when you played a 1-game or 2-game stretch to win a national title. You have to be able to play these teams that are going to take away your strengths. You have to be able to win games with doing things that maybe aren't your strengths, because they're going to do what Clemson did. They're going to see a guy get hurt. They're going to go right after him because they know that dude behind them is your weakness. So you have to be able to pivot and be able to take these teams. And that's why I said we're going to worry ourselves to death on Rice in these games. I want to beat these teams in the regular season when it's sunny, when it's nice out, and we're just dogging these teams. You know what I mean? And if we have a close game, it's just a close game. We don't have this, it was because we played bubble screen ball against Miami. Like, we spent a half of football against Miami doing something that wasn't in our DNA. We were throwing bubble screens, and when our best receiver fumbled the ball, we never threw him the ball again. We never gave the ball to the best two running backs in college football last year. We didn't lose with our best players. You know what I mean? Like, and against Texas A&M, we're playing prevent defense. If we play aggressive defense, we win that game. Like, let's win these games doing what our strength is, and that's what I'm saying, and not worry about all the stuff that you're going to have struggles. It's going to happen. We can't name any teams that don't have struggles. Very seldom. Maybe that one of those Miami teams in Alabama or whatever. It's few and far between that a team's not going to have struggles throughout the year, and that's what I'm saying. So that's kind of a mute subject. We're going to have a game where we're like, well, that was luck. You know what I mean? That's going to happen, and we have to win differently. And so I don't know. I love the idea of the short passing, getting better at our weaknesses. We're going to have to be able to play soft coverage. We're going to have to play that against somebody this year, where we can't just blitz every down or play pressure. We're going to have a third down call against Ohio State, and you're going to have a safety be able to help over top and not commit them to the line of scrimmage like we did against Ohio State. You're going to have to be able to do that. So let's work on those things early in the year in moments and not just be so, I don't know. Like, I hope our team's that way this year. I hope it's not like one of those teams that's just like, you take away the run, you're going to beat Notre Dame. Somebody gets hurt, oh, you're going to beat Notre Dame. Like, I hope it's.
This is one thing that I think has held Notre Dame back in the playoff years where we've made it to the playoff on good defense and a run game, like the Kelly years, and then whatever, even the Riley Leonard year. When you get to like playoff time, defenses are good enough. If you're one-dimensional, they're going to shut you down. You can win that way against lesser talent. But when you get in those elite on elite matchup, you got to be able to test the defense any which way. That's the biggest change offensively I'm hoping to see this year is Notre Dame is a dangerous downfield passing team and running team.
And you could be better at one. You know what I mean? You could be better at passing deep or short or running the ball. But so you have your bread and butter in games that you're going to have a tight game and your coach is like, let's just go back what took us to the dance. You know what I mean? Like, but you got to be able to do the other things and practice the other things and not be scared to try it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want Carr busting to throw 60 yards or 50 yards downfield every possession. Like, sometimes let's just run the rock. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes that's what we're going to have to do. And when we play these teams in the playoffs, we're going to go against good teams that'll shut down what we do best. It's going to happen.
And it's going to happen. Catfish is people are talking about Leonard was a dog, though he was an absolute dog, but passing the ball wasn't a main strength, and teams weren't worried about that, which makes it easier to defend the run. He was a dog, and I loved him, but the passing thing just didn't instill fear, and you didn't have enough receivers to do that as well. I mean,
when we played NIU, that's just what you just said proves it, because when we had the ball late in that game, he could not throw the ball to win. He didn't. They did not throw the ball to win. Like, all year long, they could run the option. They could run the spread option, like read option crap. He could not throw the ball to win. You know what I mean? Like, he was a great quarterback in college, but you have to be able to throw the ball and run the ball in today's football. You have to.
Yeah.
So I'm with you 100%.
Man, this is going to be an interesting journey. And Catfish, we want to know, where are you right now? Are you in a dungeon? Are you in a submarine? Where are you?
I'm in the plant, so I'm in the plant. I'm on break, so I went over on the other part of the plant. Well, I work in a big facility, so I could be outside, inside, in a closet. You never know. I could be underneath Notre Dame looking for the money machine. You know what I mean? Sully put me. I might be like on Oak Island right now. You never know. I might be under the tunnel, trying to look for the money machine. You know what I'm just saying? Sully got me on the lookout.
Dude, I really appreciate the effort of joining even when you're working and taking your break to call in here, man. It really makes the morning shows enjoyable.
I appreciate you, John. I love the chat. Hey, and Commander, it was nice to see some good vibes this morning when you got on. That was good. I'll give you props for that one.
You never know when you wake up what Commander's going to have on the chat. And Monday it was very negative, and today it was very positive. I like it. It's balanced.
100%. Hey, we got to get this thing going all year long. So good chat today, guys, and great show, John. Thank you very much, buddy.
Hey, thanks a lot, and be safe at work there in that dungeon. It literally looks like he's calling from the engine room and underneath the Titanic. It's what I have in mind with like the big cylinders and stuff. That's what I'm picturing. Look at this from the Swan Dog. Lord, look at this, man. This is a group of educated, fine, upstanding citizens in this chat. You ask and you'll receive. Laurels refer to honors, awards, or distinctions earned for achievements, originating from the ancient Greek tradition of crowning victors with laurel wreaths. Look at that, man. You ask and your answer. Who would have thought a guy that's screen name is Swan Dong would have all the brains in the world? Who would have thought? Oh my God, that's funny. Oh, that's really, really good. Swan Dong. Whenever I hear that crash, I feel like the Undertaker entrance music. I'm telling you, man, I couldn't have been the only one. I couldn't have been the only one. When those CDs were the thing, they used to put out like WWF entrance songs on a CD. You better believe I was bumping that Kane intro, bro. I was walking around the house doing this. I was doing all of it. The DX song will get you hyped to this day. The buildup of the DX song in the beginning, and then it break it down. Come on, man. Stone Cold, I get goosebumps thinking about it. When that glass broke, you knew all hell was going to break loose when you heard that Stone Cold glass break. Kane's was awesome. You know what else was a banger? The Brood. Do you remember the Brood's entrance where they came out of the hole with the fire and the blood, and that song was banging? I used to love the Brood's entrance. That was an amazing one. Like The Rock's was okay, but not one of my favorites. Not one of my favorites, but The Undertaker and how it evolved over time. I love that Undertaker one, how over the years with the character shifts, how it changed. Like the American Badass thing was not really, when he was riding the motorcycle and it wasn't really the Undertaker. I didn't love that as much. But anything riffing off the original creepy Undertaker thing, I really like that. Kent Jackson, Val Venus. Hello, ladies. Shawn Michaels, sexy boy. Raw is Jericho. What about all aboard the train? And then the bass hits. God, I love that. Jerry the King Lawler, all the little stuff he would say when the Godfather came in with all of his ladies. Oh, man. But the Godfather one was such a classic, too. All aboard, baby. Man, those were the days. Life was simpler. But I liked, man, some of those were awesome. And every once in a while for nostalgia, I'll YouTube some of those entrances just because life was simpler then, man. 14-year-old John didn't have anything to worry about other than when Kane and The Undertaker were going to fight it out as brothers. You know what I'm saying? That's all I had to worry about on a Monday night when I was 14. Is like it's just it's fun to go back to a simpler time. I'm going to tell you what, though. What a good show, man. It's a Wednesday, and we're like in the middle of no man's land on the football calendar. And I had this show seemed particularly entertaining for some reason compared to a lot of these morning ones in the off season. It's all due to you guys. So I thank you for being here. Really, really fun show. A lot of great energy. I still had some stuff on my list we didn't get to. We'll save it for Friday. Thanks for being here. Thanks for donating. Thanks for joining the Patreon. Thanks for the chats. You guys are awesome. I love this community. You're my real life friends now. I know it's weird, but like you people turn from online strangers to real life friends. And I am going to ask my dad. I asked my dad how it feels when Notre Dame's number one. I just said, what is it like? And he said, it's hard to explain, but you put on all your Notre Dame gear and you walk around and you peacock your ass everywhere you go. And every building you walk into and every situation, you pimp walk that Notre Dame stuff when you're number one. And nobody could say shit to you. No one could say a word. And you crow hop in there, baby, like a peacock. 14-year-old John had air. I found a Rudy says, and I'm a real life friend turned into an online stranger. Yeah. For Rudy and Pat, it's the opposite. You guys had the opposite workflow there. You guys are awesome. Have a great Wednesday. I love this show. Thanks for letting me do this. You guys are freaking great.